Hey everybody, welcome to the Dempsey's Resolution Fitness Hour. I'm Eric Dempsey, and I'll be doing this from my home location in Salem, Alabama, as opposed to the Ranger Joe's God and Country Show Broadcasting Center in Columbus, Georgia. Okay, we're home today. I'll head back into the broadcast studio tomorrow to do some work for the ministry, but today we're shooting from home. Okay, and man, you know, what we're going to talk about today is some food stuff, some nutrition, and a little bit of exercise stuff. So, we're going to look at a concept called speed shopping first. Speed shopping, okay? Now, this is pretty huge. Speed shopping is a concept where, we're talking about going in and rapidly purchasing all the food that you want to get and getting out of there as quick as possible, okay? And the key is to know what you're looking for, right? To go in, to blast in there, get exactly what you need, check out, and boom, be gone. Not to drag it on, because what a lot of people do, right? A lot of people will go in there and, man, they go in there with 5 things on their list, and the next thing you know, they're coming out with a full grocery cart because they just bought all kinds of stuff, right? So, okay, you don't want to do that, obviously, right? You want to just make sure you got your list of specific items. And remember, if you're eating whole foods, it's going to be perishable, right? It's going to be perishable. That food's going to go bad quickly if you don't eat it. So you don't want to buy a lot of good whole foods, especially fresh fruit and vegetables, that you're not going to get to in a few days. Only buy what you need for a few days. I say three to 5 days the most, and then, plan on going again. You're going to have to go again, and then once you get in there, just get what you need, nothing else, right? You go in, speed shopping. The whole concept of speed shopping is to minimize your time, so you're back in the fight, you're back doing what you got to do, and you're not buying extraneous garbage in there. You're not getting processed foods, junk foods, candies, cookies, cakes, whatever. You're just going in, getting your healthy stuff, and boom, you're out the door. Go right back home, prep that stuff, get it ready for your meals, and you're ready to go, okay? And so, those are the kind of things you got to look at to avoid being drug into, oh, well, maybe I'll try some of this and try some of that and get some of this. So forget all that. Speed shopping. Boom, get your list, short list, which is based on your food list from your meal plan, right? Becomes your grocery list. Once you make your meal plans, you get your grocery list, boom, go in, get the stuff you need every couple days, just get what you need and get back home, all right? So once you can get that system in place and you go in there and you're doing like maybe 2 or 3, 4 trips a week, you blast in there, boom, get your stuff, get out, and then back home to meal prep, get ready to eat, get ready to train, and continue, doing what you got to do throughout the day. All right, so that's speed shopping. That's the concept anyway, right? All right, next thing we're talking about is, rice. A lot of people ask me, what's good to get? What can you get for that's not so expensive? Everything that's really organic and good for you is so expensive these days, right? So what we're looking at now is how to economize. Say you got 3 or 4 kids, or even just a couple kids, or even if it's just like a husband and a wife, and 1 kid, it gets expensive, right? When I buy food for me and like my daughter when she comes over, man, that, buying stuff for her and me, that naturally doubles the price, right? So it's like, wow, I eat a lot as it is, and then boom, you just start feeding your kids. Next thing you know, man, if you got a big family, that stuff could get rough, right off the bat. And it's insanity. So you're looking at, needing to economize and find stuff that you can buy that's not expensive but can feed a lot of people. And unfortunately, all the bad stuff can do that. Like a case of ramen noodles. You can get a case of ramen noodles for next to nothing, right? Dirt cheap. And, that'll feed a lot of people. And it can be pretty tasty, too. I'm an old soldier. I've spent many years eating ramen noodles and MREs, so, I'm an old ramen noodle master. And but they're terrible for you. You can't win eating that stuff all the time. So brown rice, white rice, you can get a packet of that, a little packet that'll make this giant pot of rice that would feed you and your family all probably for several days. Okay, so you need to think about that. You know, brown rice versus white rice. People always arguing back and forth. Oh, you got to get the brown rice because only brown things are healthy, right? Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. Okay, that's almost, some of that is just like, you know, marketing hype. Like, hey, I sell brown stuff, so buy the brown stuff. Hey, I sell white stuff, so sell the white stuff. You know, and it's sometimes that simple, right? The bottom line is rice is very affordable. You can get huge quantities of rice. These little bags make giant pots of rice. So the quantity is huge, right? Now, you're like, yeah, but those are bad carbs, right? Well, no. There's no such thing as good, you know, good food or bad food. It's what you do with the food and, you know, when and how much, the dosage, the timing, and all that stuff. Food is not good or bad. Food is food, all right? There's, you know, healthier food, less healthier food, but it's not good or bad, okay? There's no such thing as good carbs, bad carbs. You know, it's like, all right, what do we have, a board of moral inquiry and determine which carbs, you know, failed to meet the moral and ethical standards of society. So there's no such thing as good or bad, just like, you know, like guns. Guns aren't good or bad. They're just tools. They're just chunks of metal and plastic and wood. And if you pick them up and do great things with them, they're awesome. And if you pick them up and do bad things with them, they're terrible. Okay? It's the person behind, you know, the fork or the weapon that makes it good or bad, right? So when you're the operator of your Crew-Served fork machine, you know, you got to make sure you're putting quality stuff in your mouth. Rice. Rice can be an awesome complex carbohydrate, okay? And there's tons of articles that you can read if you're really into the debate on which is better. Here's the bottom line up front, okay? They equal out in the end. Both have pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses, and in the end, okay, they come out about the same. Now, brown rice, you know, it's got more good stuff, less bad stuff, except for, you know, its fiber and phytates and phytic acid is a big, you know, one of the big cons of brown rice. And it totally becomes an anti-nutrient, so you don't absorb all the stuff that, you know, is better about the brown rice and the white rice. It's got stuff in there that counteracts it, so it makes it so it's not that much better in the end. White rice is enriched. It's got more, you know, in the end, after you take away all the anti-nutrient properties of the phytates and phytic acid, it's got, you know, dang near not much more than the white rice. So brown rice and white rice end up, after you know, all is said and done in the whole equation battles, and you can read all about it. You know, there's thousands of articles out there. Some people always say, you know, you can read articles supporting whatever you want to find, put it that way. Think about, like, if you support brown rice, you know, there's thousands of articles that say brown rice is awesome and the best. If you like white rice, there's thousands of articles that say white rice is the best. If you want a neutral opinion, find the non-pro or con. You can find the actual comparisons that give you a pretty realistic, you know, breakdown of each one, right? So the breakdowns of each one, in the end, when all is said and done, accounting for the phytic acid in the, you know, the fiber content of the brown rice and the enrichment of the white rice, they come out pretty even. So anyway, for like $1.50, you get a little bag of brown or white rice. Here's the end of the day thing, right? Which one do you like? If you like brown rice, eat brown rice. If you like white rice, eat white rice. Okay? Or mix them up. Like, I go back and forth. Basically, whichever one I find on sale. Okay? When I find it on sale, I get it. So I get a bag like this of white or brown rice. I don't care which, because they both come out about the same. And boom, it makes this big giant pot of rice that feeds me for days on end, gives me my carbs. Now, the whole thing with, you know, good or bad carbs, where does rice fit in? Okay, so the brown rice and the white rice, they're a little different on the glycemic index. I think the white rice is a little higher than me. So, I think the glycemic index is a little higher on the white rice side, but the daggum brown rice is a little slower. But here's the thing. If you're eating 8 tons of rice, it don't matter because you're still taking in way too many carbs. Carbs, it's about managing carbs based on your activity level. You shouldn't be eating tons of rice or any complex carb or any carb at all if you're not earning it. Okay, carbohydrates are earned through activity. So when you go getting ready to go do a killer workout, yeah, you can have some rice. If you're getting ready to go to work, you can have a little rice or oatmeal or something, right? But make sure you got tons of protein and some good fat in there too. And then after your workouts, boom, then you can have a bunch. Like if you really like rice, have your big bowl of rice after your workout with a big chunk of, dead animals, good proteins, fibrous carbs, and some good fats. Don't forget the good fats. Now, what I like to do with rice, brown or white, is I pour extra virgin olive oil in it, all over it, and mix it up, and then I put some garlic and black pepper and turmeric and all kinds of other healthy things on there. Mix it up, and then I'll throw in some hemp seed or chia or flax meal, some good fats in there with the extra virgin olive oil, and it's like it turns it into a well-balanced little meal there. And of course, the rice fills you up with a big chunk of diced up. I like putting diced up chicken, diced up steak, diced up whatever you got. Okay, get your protein in there. Remember, big protein. The carbs facilitate the synthesis of the protein in the muscle, right? If you want the protein to go in the muscle, it's got to have some carbs, and it's got to have an insulin response, and that's also the best time to take in your creatine, right? So, white versus brown rice, doesn't matter. Just eat whichever one you like the most, whichever one you can afford. And I'm telling you, brown or white rice, pretty much you get the generic brands, and with rice, it's kind of all the same. You get the white or brown rice, and boom, it doesn't cost much. You get a huge amount of food for the cost. Prep it up, serve it with a bunch. You can make endless variety of meals with white or brown rice, right? Endless variety. You can just think up, okay, this week I'm going to put chopped up baked chicken, grilled chicken. I'm going to put some of this and that in there. And boom, you can make 50 meals right off the top of your head, right off with rice, brown or white. Okay? So do that up and think about adding that in, but it's got to be in the right amount at the right time. Remember, if just because it's cheap, just like ramen noodles, they're processed, artificial, plastic-based garbage food, but they're super cheap, so people buy them because they can't afford nothing else. Well, the rice is only a little bit more, and you can get just as much food as you can out of a pack of ramen noodles. You want to get it, much better choice would be the brown or white rice. So hit rice up, give it a try. Same thing with the potatoes. Don't sweat the white potatoes versus the red potatoes or the sweet potatoes. They're all good. They all get good nutrients in for them. You got to manage the carbohydrates regardless of what kind it is. You can get just as fat off of sweet potatoes as you can white potatoes. Same thing with the white and brown rice. If you don't manage it, it's going to cause you problems. So use rice sparingly, use it at the right times, but check it out, and it'll save you a bunch of money. Good stuff there, okay? You can make some big meals with it, especially if you got a bunch of crumb snatchers running around eating you out of house and home, right? Great to have kids around. Okay, food labels. Man, food labels are like a maze, right? People look at food labels and they're like, what is going on here? I don't understand anything. And everybody's looking at, one of the first things people look at is the fat content. Oh, it's got fat in it. It's bad, right? That's the last thing on earth you need to be looking at is the fat content. Like, who cares? The first thing I look at is the protein content. Does it have any protein in it? Is it even worth my time? Okay? How much sodium and how much, really sodium and carbohydrates are the two big things I look at. And then I look at the ingredient list. Okay? And then the big thing too, if you're looking at calories, understanding, if a package, like number one, you shouldn't be looking at a package. Okay. Remember, we want whole foods. You know, an orange doesn't have a whole lot on its food label, right? You know, when you get a bag of oranges that are pre-bagged, you know, all it should say for ingredients is oranges in there. Man, if it's got more ingredients than that, wow, you know, probably put it down and walk away slowly. And then, but if you're buying boxes of stuff still, forget it, man. You know, processed, artificial, refined carbohydrates and foods are just terrible. You can't win. I don't care what the label says. You know, on the front it'll say low fat, gluten free, this and that, whatever, right? It doesn't matter what's, you know, if you look at the labels, flip to the backside. And the big thing we want to talk about with food labels today is serving sizes. Okay, you know, it gives you a breakdown. Most labels will have the breakdown for one serving on there. So it says X number, you know, grams of carbs and protein and fat and sodium and cholesterol and blah, blah, blah. That's all great stuff, right? But that's just for one serving. How many servings are in the package? You know, if you're like, oh, it's only got 10 grams of this and 4 grams of that, and then you look up and it says 16 servings, and you're going to eat the whole package. Well, guess what? You know, you're going to multiply that times the number of servings. Okay? So the serving size times the number of servings for the total thing. Like, because normally nothing in a package, whatever I buy that's got like servings in it, I eat the whole thing. So I eat the whole thing. So like I gotta multiply the whole thing. Like, oh, it's got 3 servings. You know, well, 3 servings for who? You know, little tiny midgets out on a Pacific island somewhere. It's like, I gotta eat, brother. I gotta eat. You know, so it's like 3 servings in this little container of whatever, like kale chips or whatever, and it's like, oh, 13 servings. And it's like, are you kidding? That's like 2 chips a bite. I just wolf down the whole thing and get another one. So you got to add up the whole thing. Look at servings, serving size, right? Okay, so it'll give you the list. And then look at the ingredients, right? And it should, you know, theoretically it should have the item that you're actually buying in the ingredient list. Like almond butter. Almond butter is a good one, right? Because you can check, like peanut butter too. Like check all the different brands, right? And you flip it over and look, and like you'd think like almond butter would have almonds in it, right? How about almond milk? Yeah? Go see if the almond milk actually mentions almonds in the almond milk. Some of them do, some of them don't, right? Same thing with almond butter, same thing with peanut butter. Some of them don't even list the daggum thing that's on the front because all they're using is like almond flavoring, artificial flavoring, natural, all natural flavoring. That's just all words for more chemicals and more garbage, right? So make sure the stuff's in the package. Like if I get something with almonds, it best say almonds on the ingredient list, like, you know, and not a whole lot more than that. If you buy a bag of like almonds, should there be anything more than almonds on the bag? You know, depending on what kind, roasted and salted. Okay, you're going to have a little, you know, I was going to say salt. But ideally, you just want the, you know, real food is the ingredient. That's the part people don't get, you know. If you look at a label on bread or any processed, you know, carbohydrate, right? Wow. The ingredient list is like that long, and you got to really search to find what's on the front of the package, you know? Like, wow. So if you're eating something that's got like 400 different sentences with these words that you can't even pronounce from chemistry lab, probably put it down and walk away, right? So you know, really watch yourself. If you're on a diet and trying to lose weight and you're eating, you know, worried about reading labels off of cardboard boxes and stuff and packages, meaning you're eating all kind of processed artificial foods, you're not going to win, okay? You're doomed. Like if you're eating like, oh, look at this, it's a Super Ninja diet meal from whatever program, you know, and you read and it's got like 500 ingredients, you know, but it says Super Ninja Get Lean Quick Meal Plan Super Meal. It doesn't matter, okay? Don't fall for the hype. So serving size versus servings, right? You know, what's the That whole readout on the label is usually just for one serving. Look up on top of it where it says how many servings per container. You know, and it says 47. That means you're going to multiply all that you just read times 47, right? So if you're going to wolf down the whole can or the whole package, or the whole box, you know, you got to look at the big numbers there. You got to add it all up. So you shouldn't be eating from boxes anyway. Eat whole foods when you can. Use rice, brown or white, over ramen and artificial stuff like that. Use it sparingly in active activity levels. And all you got to do with rice is like you either get more or you get less. Okay, that's how you adjust your carbohydrates. It's called, you know, cycling your carbs, right? Carb cycling. So after your activity level, you get a whole cup and a half. Okay, before your activity level, when you're just chilling watching TV, you just get a quarter of a cup. Okay, you get a little bit, and you get more protein. You get your fats, stuff like that. You know, so you got to manipulate your macronutrients with your calorie intake based on activity level, right? Okay, speed shopping. Remember, go in, get your list, go straight in, get what you want, get out, right? Don't buy anything else. Don't go looking around. Don't check out all the specials. Just boom, go in. Now, if you can get labels or coupons for your stuff that you're going in for, it's fine. But don't be going around looking at other stuff, like wandering around. Oh, this looks yummy. Next thing you know, your cart's full. You just dropped $200, and boom, you know, half the stuff isn't even good for you. So go in, speed shop, get out. You know, get your rice based on whatever you like. Okay. That's the last thing I want to talk about is, you know, going into the gym. Everybody beats themselves up really bad, you know, going into the gym. So I've been going into the gym for like 36 years now. And so I've been all through every aspect of that, okay? You go into the gym, you're going to have good days, mediocre days, bad days, you know, crappy days, days you're just not going to go, or days, you know, that... And some of the days when you absolutely don't feel like going is the days you should go. So anyway, when you go in there and, you know, listening to your body, there's a time and a place where you listen to your body, okay? Like when you're about to rip something off like a ligament or tendon and it hurts real bad and your body's saying, dude, this really, really hurts, you need to stop. That's when you listen to your body. Okay, if you listen to your body when you're trying to eat your meal and you know you're supposed to eat this whole thing, your body's like, dude, I'm full, man, I can't eat this. Just forget about it, you know. Okay, that's when you don't listen to your body, right? You got to get the food in. Okay, whatever your calorie requirement is, you need to eat it regardless of what you think about it, okay, or how you feel about it, right? You just need to eat it. Okay, even if you have to come back, you know, a little bit at a time, you need to eat it. Exercise-wise, remember, intense pain is bad. Stop immediately. You're doing something really wrong. You're going to hurt yourself. If it just burning and, you know, it's just like, oh, man, it really burns, you know, that's a good thing. That's okay. You know, if you get sore after a workout, that's okay. Like I did chest the other day and I'm like, oh, man, you know, I can barely move. So what did I do? I got on the Bowflex and I did some chest presses and it loosened it right up, right? So when you get tight and stiff and sore after a workout, you know, don't sit around. You know, delayed onset of muscle soreness usually hits 48 to 72 hours after the workout. You know, you start getting sore. But wherever it is, you need to get in there and work that muscle again. Get the blood flowing, break a sweat, work that muscle group, get all the waste materials out, get the fresh blood in there, you know, to increase the healing process. And then you'll be good to go, and that soreness will dissipate quickly, okay, much quicker than if you just limp around all week after leg day, all right? If you go into the gym and you feel like crap, like you get there and you're like, oh, man, I am just not feeling it, just do what you can. Do something. And a lot of times you'll snap out of it after you warm up and you get going, and you'll be fine. And a lot of people say they do killer workouts, right? So get on it, give it a try, just get in there and start working it. And do the best you can, go as hard as you can, and then when, you know, if you're just like, man, I'm done, just be done. Just make sure you finish your last set good. Make sure your form and repetitions stay good. You know, last set, best set, and all that. You know, work on good technique, and push yourself. Lift as much as you can, as many reps as you can. Do what you can do within whatever your program is, whatever you're working on. And then, but do something and exert yourself. And then if you got to call it quits early because you just no mojo, I've done that before. I walk in and sometimes, okay, I was going to do 5 sets tonight, 5 sets of 3 with some heavy weight. And I get through the first couple sets, man, and the weight's feeling heavy. I didn't eat that good today. I didn't sleep good. I got a cold. Feel just crap. It just ain't gonna happen, right? I can't keep good form and technique because just not feeling it. I can't keep my my back straight. I can't keep everything firing right. So what do? I drop the weight down until I can manage it, right? And then I do what I can, okay, with as heavy as I can. Boom, I get as much of it done, and then when I'm just like, dude, I'm done today. Today's just over. And then you just walk away. Wrap it up and just walk away. But long as you did something versus nothing, right? Go in there and do something. Daggum, right? Get in there and do something. And that's all. And don't beat yourself up about it, because tomorrow will be a better day, right? You're going to have those good days where you're going to go in and crush. You get PRs on all your weights. Like when I got my... I broke 500 pounds on the trap bar deadlift last year. It was like, wow, that was an all-time record. I was way older. It was an all-time record. And I just walked in one day and I ate real good that day and everything, the stars aligned. And I felt awesome. And those are the days you push it. Those are the days you go for broke, And that's when I got my, biggest PRs on the trap bar that I ever got in my entire life. Well, on my back and knee injuries and stuff, trap deadlifts and squats were never my forte because of my injuries, because all the running I used to have to do. And then when I could finally break 500, I don't give a shit if I was almost, I was 48 years old when I did it, right? And then I broke that 500 PR with like 525 in the same year, like 3 months later. And so that was just last year. Am I going to try for more this year? I don't know. It depends on what my body says. But I'm going to listen to my body in that regard. When I feel strong, I'm going to go for it. When I don't, I'm going to tap out. I'm going to back it off and just go easy and walk away. So if you're feeling bad in the gym and you're having a rough time, go in and do something. And then, that way at least you got something accomplished and you didn't, actually just waste away. And go in there and make something happen. Do something rather than nothing, okay? And that's pretty much all we're going to cover for this week. It's we got speed chopping down, brown rice versus white rice, the food labels and the serving sizes versus the servings per container, and just listening to your body and knowing when and when not to listen to your body, especially when you go in the gym. Remember, sharp. Acute pain is not a good thing. That don't train through the pain, or no pain, no gain, all that crap. That's total BS. If you're feeling sharp, acute pain, like someone's sticking a fork in your eye, you need to stop immediately and seek medical help and switch up what you're doing. Okay? And then if you're feeling like the ache, the burn, oh, I'm getting tired, it's getting really hard, that means you're doing work. That's good. Take a little break, drink some water, drink your intra-workout drink, and then boom, hit out some more reps, hit another set, okay? But don't tap out when you're feeling bad. Just go in there. If you're having a bad day, just get in there and do something. Start warming up, do a little stretching, get on the weights, crank out what you can, even if it's a quarter of what you plan to do. Just go in there, crank it out, and then when you got to walk away, if you got to walk away, just do it. With your head held high. Tomorrow will be a new day, and it'll be all better, okay? So, hit it hard tomorrow. Work on your food, and keep your mindset. Remember, your mind is the ultimate thing, right? If your mind isn't strong, your body isn't going to, like I always tell people, free your mind, and your glutes will follow, right? All right, guys. Hey, this is Eric with Dempsey's Resolution Fitness with the Ranger Joe's God and Country Show. And check out Chaplain Paul Voorhees Ministry. And I'm going to put the link somewhere in the post so you can check out the Chaplain Paul Voorhees Ministry. Got some free gifts on there, right? They got a free gift page where they're giving away different kind of ebooks and other things. And right now there's some fitness and nutrition stuff on there. So get on there and check it out. great stuff. It's a great site supporting Columbus, Georgia area. And God bless you all. Take care, and I'll see you next week.